gonna have to bow.
You found our show, so come on in and take a seat. Warrior class, we got the keys. Doom, 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 doom. To get you where you need to be, just study our show, and you're gonna grow like crazy. Watching you will see. Doom, 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 doom. Warrior class, we got the keys, just watch our show. 'Cause it's for you and your babies. You.
Welcome to Warrior Class.
Oh, snap. Oh, man. This is how you start off a day, man.
Yeah, so welcome to Warrior Class, where the teachers whoop ass, and you will too if you pass. Belay had just disappeared on us real quick. And now he's back. Hopefully we can hear him.
Me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
We can see him. He was having a whole conversation like in another dimension or something.
Yeah, man.
So
you watching Channel Zero. I just seen this right here.
And if you notice, Omaniki looks a little different today.
Oh no.
And
if you notice what you said?
Where my wig?
Now, so our special guest is Amosun, C-Flux Sing, artist, hip-hop artist.
Peace.
And it's fitting that he's in today. If you look at the bottom of the screen, you see it says FT20 Hip Hop Martial Arts and Activism Conference. And Moon is all those things. So
salute to everybody.
Yeah.
We're
gonna get into it. Today is sport versus combat, art versus science. So a lot of times people talk about combat sports. In fact, one combat sport is used as the litmus test for if your martial arts is real, which is ridiculous, right? So people talk about combat sports or martial arts. Well, we talk about martial arts as sport and martial art as combat. Both are valid, but they valid in their lane, right? Do you want to use martial art as sport, which includes rules and things of that nature we'll get into out there? Or do you want to use martial art as combat when you in the ring sparring with your best friend? So they have lanes, not always appropriate, interchangeable. And so to judge one by the other is foolish at best.
Right.
So I said earlier, MMA, which is martial art as sport, cannot be the litmus test for martial art as combat, which is for self-defense and your survival. It cannot be.
Which it is for the untrained folks.
Because it's not the same. You're only the untrained, but see, the untrained opinion when it comes to, got to be real about this, the untrained opinion when it comes to survival is of very little value.
Right.
Because that'd be like, so now Mao Zedong said, no participation, no right to observation, basically. But that'd be like me going into Amosun's arena and saying this art, the best artist to know if you're a good artist is Basquiat. I don't know the fuck I'm talking about. And all you got to do is ask me, okay, well, what makes Basquiat's art good?
Right.
I like I said, look at it. Look at it. I don't know technique. I don't know none of that. So I'm not speaking with any intelligence, right?
It only matters as a consumer. You know what I'm saying?
We also talked about critique versus criticism. there's no such thing as constructive criticism. Criticism is always going to be offensive, insulting. Critique is what you're looking for. Critique is somebody saying, making commentary on what you have based on their knowledge. They have experience in it, knowledge in it, and so they can make an intelligent critique. Other people, it's just their opinion, man. So it's not rooted in fact, it's rooted in truth, maybe, but it's just their opinion. So it only has as much value that person's opinion.
Right.
But when you give a critique, you have experience in this thing, you've researched this thing, you know this thing, and experience is better than just researching it, honestly. And you talk on that thing, whether that person values you or not, what you say is valuable because you're speaking from a position of knowledge and possibly wisdom and understanding in it, right? So people just throw around these terms, sport versus combat. And then back in the early 2000s, I created, Ning was popular. And I created this site, well, a Ning page. Like on Ning, if you have a page, everybody that is a member has their own page. It's like everybody has their own little Facebook within your thing. Ning was incredible. It got killed by 50 Cent, the rapper. Because 50 Cent started charging for his page. He realized that's valuable, so he started charging for his. And so you only paid a little bit to go. I think it was 50 Cent. You only paid a little bit, but
Queens get the money.
Then Ning says, shit, well, we'll charge everybody. 50 Cent was making millions of dollars. He had millions of people on this thing, right? And they each paying whatever, $1 or whatever. So he's making $1 million. So Ning says, shit, we're going to make money off of this. And that, they started charging. So I had, I think at it averaged like 10,000. I think it was like at its height, 14, 15,000 people. And that was incredible back in them days. Mm-hmm. Especially, I wasn't a celebrity. So that's, and we had some hot topics on there, man. But I wasn't going to pay. I saw Ning falling after they charged, and I was like, I ain't paying. And they're going to be gone in about a year, and they sure were. And it was only charging like $14 a year, but I'm like, they're going to be gone. I'm not giving them a dime. I'm out. But one of the big kerfuffles, if you will, was about calling your system martial, what we do, not just the system, the whole thing, what we do, whether you call it martial arts, martial science. There was a big thing about that. And even, I know, almost soon, I talked about how we are going to call ourselves this regardless of what anybody else says. Mainly because 99% of the people in the world call it martial arts, so they won't even know what we're talking about. Same way with self-defense. We call it self-protection, but publicly we say self-defense because people, that's what the term they use.
Yeah.
The term they use is self-defense. Now, you can only go so far with that. When people watch martial art movies, some people say karate movies. Some people say kung fu movies.
Right.
I ain't going that extreme. It's a martial art movie. And where it's from, because like Tony Jaa wasn't doing karate or kung fu. He's doing Muay Thai. Or the other dude, Yuko Wyas or whatever his name is, who did The Raid, that's Pinchas a lot. So I try not to insult people's stuff. We bring out a movie, a traditional movie where we're doing traditional African martial arts, I don't want nobody to say we're doing a karate movie.
But that's what they're gonna say.
Yeah.
That's what they're gonna say. But
a lot of ignorant people gonna say
it won't
that.
insult me.
Right.
But I would never say it's a karate movie.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do that.
Trained people ain't gonna say nothing like that.
Say it now.
Right.
You know, you still in that karate class.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, shit.
Doing that African karate.
I had a big afro when I was little. Me and this girl, we were joning each other. She got mad. May Catherine. It was funny. May Catherine. She smelled. I'm saying this because I'm gonna get to how she got later. But May Catherine at the time smelled like pee. Her hair looked terrible. So I had goddamn a plethora of stuff I could joan on.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm tearing her up. She gets mad, really, and I don't joan long because I know people get upset, right? And so I don't push it long. I don't believe in doing that. And person mad, now you gotta be fighting people. I ain't doing that. It's supposed to be fun.
Obi.
Well, she got upset and she said, what did she say? Your mama look like Susie Sally. I said, your mama look like Shitty Sally. And woo, she got upset. She said, I'm whooping your ass after school, mother. You know. I said, well, I'll be there. So
what age was your Baba, just in case people don't think you were 19?
8.
Okay.
8. So not no goddamn. By the time I was in the double digits, I would a sister said they fighting me. I'm like, no, you're not. Go ahead.
Exactly. I just wanted to make that clear.
So yeah, I was 8. So after school, I come outside, I see her, she's talking with a girl, they talking, walking away. So I say, and I should have just let it go. And my first mind said, just let her leave. She don't want to do nothing because she kind of looked back, saw me. I said, May Catherine, what you say you gonna do after school? And now her ego come in there, right? So she comes up, and I'm like, I'm just gonna throw her down, smack on the forehead, embarrass her, get up and leave. Whoa, she grabs my afro. I said, this girl didn't grab my hair, right? I said, let go of my hair, May Catherine. I'm still not taking this shit seriously. She pulls my hair down, goes up my nose with a pen. She was trying to, because, the myth, they think you go up and you stab their brain. She was literally trying to kill me now. So I'm like, she ain't joking. And she went from, I'm walking away, probably because I'm going to kill this dude if I fight him. So she was trying to kill me. I said, this girl stabbed me up the nose. And it comes from karate. Somebody in the background said, you your African karate. And my thought, and she stabbed me, I'm like, motherfucker, it's not karate. And she stabbed the shit out of my nose, blood coming out. And so she thinks blood coming out of my brain. She's like, yeah, I'm stabbing your brain. And she thinks blood coming out of my brain.
As a 8-year-old girl actually said, I'm stabbing you in the brain.
Yes. But that's because she was 8. So she ain't had
Chicago,
no
y'all.
goddamn
Only Chicago, ladies.
Yo, I mean,
so
that shit real, man. I remember
I hit her in the liver. She ain't never been hitting her liver before. Once again, we both 8. She dropped. But I know the liver shot would do. Right? She drops. I'm like, you stabbed me. And so I'm over and she reaches up. I grab both her wrists and I'm just stepping in her thigh joint now. So I'm doing shit that she ain't never experienced, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking, okay, I'm gonna fuck up. She ain't gonna be able to walk when she leave here. Yeah. And next thing I know, I'm snatched off my feet. I say, who in the hell? Just like that. It had to be an adult. And I just started getting my ass tore up. This wasn't no even a teacher. This was the school counselor beating the shit out of me. But I said, "What you doing, Mr. Page? What you doing, Mr. Page?" He said, "Boy, you don't never put your hands on a girl." I said, "You see my nose? It don't matter." Whooped my ass. He said, "Go and leave, May Catherine." Whips me some more. He said, "I go home." I said, "Man, I'm telling my dad will come and fuck you up." Like that. He said, "Boy," he said, "tell your daddy." He said, "I guarantee he probably gonna fuck you up." Like that. I said, "This nigga don't know my daddy." So I go home and I said, "Dad, look at my door." He said, What happened, boy?" I said, "This girl May Catherine, we were joning. We got, well, not joning, cracking on each other. We got into it." We say cracking. Got into it. And she got mad. Told me the whole thing. I said, then after school, I said, "May Catherine," she turned around, grabbed my afro, stabbed me up the nose. Him and my mother look at each other and start cracking up. I'm like, what's funny? He said, it's funny that you got your ass whooped because you wasn't supposed to be touching no girl. I said, "What? Huh? Look at my nose, mama." I just ignore my father now. "Look at my nose, mama." Because I want that, mama love and jive. She said, "I'll be back, baby." She come back. She get a big, it's a big roll, like, the tissue. She got a big hunk of it. She said, "Because you bleeding so bad here." And they both just start cracking up again. I'm like, "Y'all laughing at me? Look, you could have died. She was trying to stab me up in my brain." He said, "Well, you knew that the pen can't go up in your brain like that. You know that. And that's why you didn't do nothing even more harmful, thinking, because you really knew she thought she was trying to kill you, but you knew she couldn't. And she was a girl. The whole thing could have been avoided if you just let her go ahead and walk on. You don't touch no girl." And that's where I learned, parents taught you don't touch no girl. But the way they treated me after she did that, that's why I learned viscerally, you don't touch no girl and you're a dude, man.
Right.
So that was my lesson in that. But the biggest thing that kept staying in my mind, I learned that lesson. So, okay, I won't do that ever again.
Use your African karate.
Right. That stayed in my mind. God damn it, that bothered me. And I was asking who said it so I could check them after I never found out who yelled that shit out.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you out there and you know that you're the one that said African karate, please let Baba Balagoon know so that he may correct this great fuck.
Well, if you come on now and you said you did it, you best not have no children. Now, I'm not joking. If you told me you would have said it now, I'll be tripping out.
I want to say peace to everybody. I'm not gonna be here much longer. I just came to see the show start, and for some quick news, I want to say, we about 20 minutes in, so everybody can't hit the like button. Peace, like I said, peace to all the people in the chat. Real quick, I thought that this was so. Two pieces of news. One is actual news, and the other is something that I saw on social media that it coincides with what we're talking about. So the first thing that is actual news is about these iPods. The third story it's a third story. We talked about this before. This solar storm that people are talking about. I sent Baba a post about the sheriff was talking about how they've been planning and training for this for over a year now.
Eclipse.
Yeah, for the eclipse. I'm sorry, for the eclipse. That they've been training for this solar eclipse for about a year now, what to do during this solar eclipse. That's kind of strange.
If a solar storm hits the earth,
which they're saying could happen.
Stay in the crib or something. Get underground. Your crib's probably gonna get burnt up. But
right, not solar storm.
Yeah, solar eclipse.
Right. But so that's something you might want to check out. But this that I thought was real interesting. They were talking about the new iPods have a patent for reading, like basically if you look at the patent that Apple submitted for this and another company, the way it reads is the patent is about the new iPods send messages back to Apple about your brain waves. It's monitoring your thought. It's monitoring your thought patterns. And of course, they've been to had equipment that could do all type of stuff. But now your actual thought patterns, the things you're thinking about while you have those iPods on, it sounds fairy tale like it's not true. But just read it, check the article out that they're talking. And
I laugh because I got a Samsung, so sorry, y'all.
And me too. and for some reason, I never mess with Bluetooth stuff. I always say I'm just afraid of. I don't like Bluetooth.
I know Amazon got a iPhone because he's from New York.
Oh yeah, all New York.
Samsung, man.
What? Hey. Well, he been hit down here a long time. You know, New York folks gonna get up on them iPhone.
So yeah, be very, be mindful of that. This monitoring thing that's going on. So the second thing that I thought was wild.
Real quick, I heard about that too a while back.
Wait a minute, and why did AKOB said solar storms hit the earth all the time?
Solar flares, not solar storms. Yeah,
I'm like, a solar storm hit the earth?
No, solar flares from a solar.
Well, he might be a superhero, so maybe solar storm.
I'm sorry. What was you saying though? What was you saying? You heard about that?
I was saying, yeah, I heard about that too. Some months last year, actually, it was
right. That's when it first hit.
This white chick was talking about it, and she was saying that it happens mostly when you charging your phone up and you have the Wi-Fi on.
Yeah, that's how it was happening. That was the first article.
How is it reading your brain waves? Like when you put it to your ear?
The iPods go in your ears.
Yeah. But so I'm talking about the specific iPhone, not the iPod. But that's what they're talking about, the iPhone.
So that's how it started. That was an article that came out last year. I remember that. But the technology is the way they were saying it, where it reads it's easier. It's almost like an EKG when you put these things, how it works when you put them in your ear and they hook to the Bluetooth. It's like they send an EKG. So it works on that line, similar to how EKG works. So just something to be mindful of, be careful out there. The third thing is, or the second thing is, I thought was, well, this is the third. I put out a post from you go through your memory and it sends you stuff. So about 2 years ago, I said, when I see grown men out in slides and Crocs, I be thinking they're unprepared for life. So I reposted that. I copy pasted it and I reposted it. And I said, ladies, if your man is out with you in public with Crocs or slides on, he's not prepared to protect you or himself. And I said in the post, I accept all the smoke that comes with this post that I put up here. And I wanted to just real quick just mention how delusional we can be when we don't understand what self-defense and what it's about, and self-protection. Like we say self-defense outwardly, but we really speak on self-protection. And we talked about this. I think this was in class, or maybe it was on the show. I'm not sure. One of the first things we teach is falls and rolls, called Sabu. We talked about that on the show. And the reason we do that is because self-protection ain't just about confrontation with a person. It's about protecting yourself against all types of things. It could be a natural disaster. It could be you falling, slipping, or anything. So I say that to say we can be delusional sometimes, because a lot of folks responded to that post like telling me, you must not heard of sports mode when it comes to Crocs. Because if y'all don't know, it's this thing called sports mode, where you can take the band on your Crocs and put it behind it to get more to get more traction.
Right. I don't know. I don't wear Crocs, so it could be true.
My daughter wears Crocs.
Let me tell you something. That's a crock of shit.
my daughter. She showed me my daughter showed me the sports mode. She was like,
my daughter did too.
I'm like, you ain't got time. Shots. The wall is falling down. It's a fire. It's people falling.
I guess you can always keep it in
sports
mode.
But that don't matter. You still got on soft shoes with holes in them.
Well, and
what are we talking about?
And that sports mode, that's a strap that's easily broken.
That's going to help you. First of all, you got to keep it in sports mode because you can't adjust the strap when you're in an emergency situation. But second of all, if y'all going to try to argue with me that you can maneuver properly with clogs on, I'm not going to have that conversation with you.
Well,
you cannot.
Number one, clogs or slides, or people like in Atlanta, a lot of people, are very cowboyish, but it's fantasy because they ain't like they not even training with the firearm that they get. They think because they have a firearm, it makes them able to defend themselves out here. Right. If you train with it, it can help, but that's not I carry tools all the time of all types. But if somebody rushes me, they're on me right there. I have to be able to defend myself with my body first, get some distance, and then deploy my tool. So you got to be able to train all of it. And then if you squeamish, with your squeamishness, and we dealt with that, can be alleviated through actual hands-on training. If you're squeamish, you ain't busting shots on nobody anyway, and then you're definitely not doing the accuracy because you're doing it out of fear. You're back throwing the bullets. So yeah, you can shoot while you got Crocs on.
Of course you can,
but you better hope the other person got Crocs on too.
You better hope I don't step on your foot. That's it.
That's the deal about it. It's like, self-preservation can enact, but you ain't gonna be able to take care of your things properly.
Right. You bang your toe on anything with them Crocs on. I don't care what kind of sports mode you got on. You're not going to be operational. You're not going to be able to. You're not going to have the same mobility. You do not have them with Crocs on, and you are very vulnerable to all types of attacks to your feet if you got Crocs on and slides on.
You'd be better off kicking. Slides are worse. You'd be
better
off kicking those off.
Not to mention,
in certain situations, definitely.
Not to mention, I remember a situation where I seen some youth fighting at the bus stop. This some years ago. This is when they still got the SAG going on, but the SAG was going crazy. I was just looking at them. The SAG was just going crazy, but they was fighting, and it looked so funny to me because
they couldn't move.
They was both one hand holding up their hands with one hand, and the other hand was on the opponent's shirt. So they was just kind of like trying to move each other around. I'm like, yo, I was just looking at the joint like, this shit looks silly as a motherfucker, man. I ain't really trying to fight for one.
Yo,
right.
And you gotta hold your pants up while you trying to get busy.
Now on that. A question for y'all, and the question for the audience. You out, and somebody starts with you. You're like, oh, bean head motherfucker.
I know you talking about. I know you talking about bean head motherfucker.
Spit in your face.
Oh.
And then you get the knuckle up, and you swing, and they come on. And then they grab your shirt like that. And they holding up their pants. Now, a person like that, and they say, man, I shouldn't have done that, but I just had a bad day. Do you whoop their ass, or do you let them go on about their business? They don't know how to fight, obviously. And they said, I really shouldn't have done that. I don't want to fight. I just was letting off some steam.
That's funny, man. That's if it get that far. Spit in the face is harsh.
You spit in my face.
You might be in shock. Like, did this motherfucker just, you know what I'm saying?
Well, a big dude told me.
I'm gonna be in shock like when you touch something hot.
He said he was bumping me, and he said, I spit in your face. I said, man, you spit in my face, I'm gonna hand you some, right? I said, you're gonna find out how much martial arts I actually know. Then he said, I was reaching my pants, and I grabbed some shit. And
right, that's what you last week. Yeah.
I said, dude, you do that, I'm gonna kill you. I'm gonna take your life. And really, after I thought about it, I don't know what if he had thrown shit in my face, I don't know what I'd have done. I may have killed him and the dude on the next aisle because I'm just so.
I don't know. I can't really imagine that.
I know you would be thinking about it because that dude that said, "Yo, do your African karate." Yeah, you still thinking about that? You be looking at that shit.
To answer your question,
threw shit on me. What am I gonna do?
Right.
To answer that question, if you spit in my face, I'm immediately going to your ass. I'm not gonna wait for nothing. And if you do get a chance to hold me like this, and I see you can't fight, it's too late. It's too late. You done spit in my face. You got to deal with everything that comes from. I got to do something to you.
Your cousin, you're talking to your cousin. Y'all having an argument. He said, "Man, damn that!" And you're trying to spit on the ground, but he spit. You sitting down, it gets in your face. He spits in your face. You gonna hand your cousin some?
Yeah, you gonna
nah. It depends on how. If I never liked them before, I might react real fast. But I'd be like, "Oh shit, I'm sorry, my fault." There's the reaction. If it was like my aunt or somebody, I'm gonna have to let that go or something. But if a cousin I ain't like, you know who you is if you watch it. The wrong cousins do it by mistake. Ooh, I'm sorry. Oh shit, I'm gonna slap the shit out of them 2 times. What? Ooh, Lord Jesus, that's how you gotta do it. You gotta put your hands on Lord Jesus. I'm sorry.
I was sitting across from this teacher, okay, and I'll just say that. And he's talking and he's eating, and John is just spraying out his mouth while and he knows spraying out his mouth. And so he turns to me. I said, "Lord, please don't let this man." Now I ain't even a Christian, but I said, "Lord, please don't let this man eat no more food and talk to me." And this motherfucker spits that food in my worse than it was my face. That's bad. And then it got in my food.
Oh,
I said, "Oh," just like I said, "You gotta buy me another plate." He said, "What?" I said, "Man, you're spitting all over the place. Look at this shit." Everybody else at the table started laughing because they were thinking the same thing. This motherfucker is nasty as hell.
Oh,
yeah.
That's hard, boy.
I don't play the spit games.
I don't play the spit game, bro. I don't play the spit game.
Yeah, the closest I played, and this was nasty as heck too. When you're young, we passing the 40 ounce.
Oh yeah,
it'd be like
I can't believe it. I can't believe the shit we did back then.
When they get to the bottom, all that backwash down there, we give that to the youngest dude that's on there that want to hang out with us.
Yeah, and them blunts back in the day, them blunts be all at the tip, be all them Phillies be all. That's why I never was.
The couple of times I never smoked the blunt, but people passing weed when they do that. I don't smoke that much, but when I did, one of my students, I won't name him. I won't because it's not legal in Georgia, but he gave me a one-hitter quitter. So when everybody was passing, I just go. I go with as they pass, I go, then pass the weed over to the next person.
If you're a vet, you learn how to put it on your fingertips and it never touch your lip. The actual blood.
Yeah, somebody said that too.
You would just put it.
There you go. That's how I heard. I heard that anyway. I heard that's how you heard
that. But while you doing that too, it's not just your mouth. Everybody sit there and wash their hands.
Yeah. Yep. And you gotta watch what you do with your hands after you touch that. You can't touch it.
Touch your mouth, scratch your booty.
All right, that's it. All right, I'm out.
You gotta watch your booty too. I was eating dinner with some other author guests. We had pizza. We sharing the pizza, and one of them scratched their private, not in the butt. I don't know which one is worse. I think they just bad as the other. They scratched and it was in the pans, and then they grabbed the pizza. I'm like, you can finish that, man. You good. That was gross.
Or lick their fingers and then
that too.
Hey,
you don't share barbecue with nobody.
I was so man. I want to thank you for being on the show, man. I like the glasses too, bro. I like the glasses.
Man, appreciate it. This is just to help me not get blinded by these computer waves. I am messing with my eyes.
That's what's up. I like them, man. I like them.
Are they prescription? I never seen you wear glasses. They prescription?
Nah, they're not prescription. Nah, it's just computer glasses.
I like that. That's a good look.
Cool.
Of course, I don't know about Barbara. You didn't. I don't think you said it, but Amaniki, of course, couldn't be with us today. She's working hard and or hardly working. We don't know for sure, but she'll let us know when she come back. But I just want to say peace, man. I'll probably be in the chat. I'm going with my daughter. It's prom week. Going to shop for dresses and stuff. I'm not really shopping. I'm just giving up the money. I'm just following behind them. So you know how that go.
You say you buying yourself a prom dress? You getting fancy on them, ain't you? You gonna wear it on Warrior Glass suit?
You know what? They couldn't get me on red carpet with a dress. They're gonna try to get me to go to prom.
Ruffles and everything.
I'm not wearing the prom dress, y'all. All
now,
right.
Speaking of that, ruffles. We had a student show up to class, and
I remember you saying
that.
Touched. I remember you saying
that. He had a ruffle shirt on.
I knew he was good.
And he had a headband, but his headband was actually a tie.
This is true, y'all. So I used to think Bob was lying, y'all. I'm gonna tell y'all.
Him and Akin Bobla sparred with each other, and Akin Bobla was cold. He shouldn't have done it. He gonna pull the dude, and he was like, "If it's there, use it," because that's what we believe, and that's what we do, right? He takes the tie and puts it in his mouth and pins him to the ground with the tie, and then they start actually fighting.
I used to think Bob was lying, man.
I ended up knocking the dude out because it was an accident.
That's like a spit in the face.
I met this
dude.
And
so they start fighting. I break the fight up, and then the dude attacks me.
Mm.
Now, according to Akin Bobla, I threw his perfect elbow and knocked him unconscious. I was putting up my hand because I was scared.
Oh shit!
And knocked him out. I was frightened because he came with such aggression, and it ended up knocking him unconscious. But that's,
I thought Bob was exaggerating. I met this dude.
If he's watching, he know who he is.
When I met this dude,
friend of Balagundi.
He really is a eccentric individual.
Oh, you met him?
Of course, yeah, I met him before.
Oh,
he's eccentric.
Yeah,
he has an eccentric name. He's an eccentric individual. He's just a weird. Matter of fact, I'm about to say he might owe me a couple of dollars, but I don't think so. I think we good. All right, y'all be safe. Y'all be safe. I'm out of here, man.
Have a good one, man.
Enjoy yes, sir. Peace.
All right, so we're gonna get into it. When we're dealing with these terms, they're important. It's not just it's just terms. Your name, the name of a thing, the title of a thing represents its mission, its power, and its challenge. So even when if you're given a name or you give yourself a name, always think about that. It represents your mission, your power, your challenge. If you're not willing to put in work against our oppressors, physical work against our oppressors, do not name yourself Dhoruba bin Wahad. Don't do that. Because with that name is a history, number one, and most people out here know who Dhoruba bin Wahad is. It's a history, and that name represents your mission, your power, and your challenge. In that is challenge too. Mm-hmm. Right. So my title is War Chief. Balogun is not my name, it's my title. And Oga is my title, but it's my mission, so I can't just give it up.
Yes.
It's my power for sure. And power is rooted, also linked to your personality. And so, yes, my personality is that. And boy, it's my challenge too. Mm-hmm. In many ways, right? How you have to carry yourself. You have to have patience. It's not just that you can't be punked out. That's the easy part. Mm-hmm. But to be patient with people who may disrespect you and then you realize they disrespect you. Not trying to disrespect you, just, they got their way too. Mm-hmm. You have to, so certain things, certain ways you have to move before you calling yourself a war chief. The war chief now, somebody said, well, what about, I heard about the A show, which is like the special forces of the ancient Yoruba. And they were all Balogun, and they're headed by the Balogun of Balogun, which is called the Are Ona Kakanpo. They said, well, you want to be that one day? I said, hell no. Because the Ara Ona Kakanpo, to keep that title, he had to go to physical war every 30 days or give up the title. And he could only, his tools, so, everybody else had bows, swords, clubs. The only thing he could fight with, period, was a 3-foot long staff.
Mm.
Hell no. He couldn't even pull a knife.
Yeah.
But he had to be in physical war, like hell no. And he had to prove that was to prove himself. Not just he's strategically intelligent and probably wise, but he has to be physically able to get down and kill his opponents with just that. Yeah. That's a whole nother level. And that's beyond me. I'm not gonna bullshit. I'm not gonna sit up here and be like, yeah, when the time come, I'm him. Nah.
Yeah, that's a different level of responsibility.
Right.
And power to yield, like to will, you know what I mean? And to yield, like to not just throw it out there on everybody.
Right.
You know what I mean? So yeah, definitely. And like you said, everybody's mission is their own mission. And that's the key to your own victory and salvation, so to speak. Like you got to follow your own mission.
Right. And you got to respect others.
Exactly.
I was talking to my daughter yesterday about that, like story about Eshu. Eshu, well, it was a man. He becomes a doctor, becomes wealthy, got many wives, and in Ifa tradition, men have more than one wife. So he had many wives, many children, and all the children were well taken care of because he was wealthy when he passed on. And when he passes, Eshu comes to speak to him and evaluate his life. And he says, well, tell me what you did in life. He said, I was a doctor. I was the most skilled and wealthiest doctor in all the land. And, all my family is happy and this and that. And I had all these slaves and I had wives and I had all these children. And Eshu said, that's good, but you'll be back because, I believe if you don't fulfill your destiny, you have to come back and do that shit over. Not you coming back, but your spirit comes back as somebody in your bloodline, right? Mm-hmm. You didn't fulfill your destiny, and hopefully they do. So it's not your destiny becomes their destiny plus their destiny.
Mm-hmm.
So you made your family's shit harder. But anyway, Eshu said, yeah, well, you didn't fulfill your destiny. He said, what do you mean? I just told you. He said, you weren't supposed to be a doctor. You were supposed to be a carpenter. So, and I told my daughter that every job is important. Every job. I don't care what you call it, people were down in sex workers the other day. Well, hold on. I don't just say work is work, goddamn, because busting rocks and writing a book are not the same. No, but I will say you don't disrespect them because they're doing work. I wouldn't do that work.
Mm-hmm.
If I tried to do sex work anyway, I go broke. Nobody want to be messing with my old ass. So I wouldn't do it, but work is work. So what I was telling her, not about doing no damn sex work. I'm sorry, y'all, but I want my baby to do that shit. But I was telling her, don't look down ever on a janitor and when I went to Howard, boy, they used to look down on a person that he hit me to a lot of game was the janitor that worked in our dorm. And I'm watching these students just dog him, you know, doing pranks on him, jokes. They had no respect for the man. We can't be that way. The master blacksmith in one town, the student blacksmith in another. So you are strong in this lane, but somebody else is just as strong as you in this lane, and you don't know shit about this lane. Right? And I'm big on that. I'm not going to sit and talk about art like I'm some damn expert. Never would I do that. One, that's disrespecting you and is making a fool of myself. So I wouldn't do that. Well, the same, somebody who doesn't do what I do, don't come talking about martial arts or training or whatever, and you don't really know what the fuck you talking about because it's disrespectful. And you may not even realize it's disrespectful because you've been doing it so long. You've been that false omniscience. I know this thing, so I got the right to just talk like I know the fuck I'm talking about everything. You can have an opinion about these things, but talking like you know what you're talking about, disrespectful, man. And so that's why I am with it. And that led to this episode, right? So when we say martial arts as sport, we're not saying martial sports. Okay. Judo is a martial sport, but it does not have to be applied as a martial art as a sport. It can be applied as martial art as combat, right? Although most practitioners approach it as a martial art as sport, not as martial art as combat. Most practitioners of judo. Most people in judo now, they're trying to get in the Olympics and get that medal. So they approach it as sport. But I know there's a martial artist here, John Glenn, who teaches, I think he calls it 360 degree combat. It's combat judo. Okay. And he does executive protection and stuff like that, right? So shout out to John Glenn. And that's judo, but he is judo as combat, not judo as sport, the way he approaches it.
Right.
Martial arts as sport trains for entertaining fights between two at least roughly even match sides. So you're not going to have a heavyweight boxer boxing a lightweight boxer. Tyson in his prime against Mayweather in his prime is totally not fair.
Mm-hmm.
Not
they
fair.
do different weight classes too.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that's the sport. But out in the street, they don't give a fuck. A dude as big as Tyson may attack somebody the size of a Mayweather.
Yeah.
And you better be able to defend yourself. Right. And because from watching sports a lot of times, a person gets accosted by a big dude and they go, oh Lord, because they figure they done lost.
Mm-hmm.
Because you see the power of a Tyson, of a Ali, of a Tyson Fury, you see the power of a heavyweight.
Mm-hmm.
And you see the not power of a Mayweather or Sugar Ray Leonard, but you see the speed. So you're assuming that, okay, the little dude gonna be faster, the big dude gonna be more powerful, and actually, the big dude may be faster, and the little dude may be powerful. He knows how to hit. He knows. So on the street, in the ring, you get matched because if you match, even if you have a lightweight that can hit hard against a person like Tyson, you're gonna lose. You're gonna knock him out. You say, well, he move all over the place, but he can only move so long.
Mm-hmm.
He can only bob and weave so long. But on the street, he can pull the great equalizer.
Mm-hmm.
You get to open the mug up. So it's a difference, right? So martial art as sport trains for entertaining, and it is entertainment. Don't make no bones about it. I'm not disparaging. I love boxing. I like MMA, but I love boxing. Because of the entertainment factor. Okay, it's the entertainment. And they're roughly evenly matched. And martial arts as sport discourages one side having an enormous advantage due to superior numbers, levels, strategic surprise, and so on. So they don't usually train for those advantages.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the danger. And they may arrogantly claim no one else is able to handle those advantages either, simply because they don't know how. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu practitioners a lot of times say, well, yeah, we can't handle, because people say you can't handle multiple attackers while you're on the ground. We can't handle multiple attackers, and you can't either. Nobody can. That's bullshit.
Mm.
And I always say, well, were any of you all in the military? In combat arms? Specifically, were you in any special ops? Were you an operator in the military? Because, of course, a lot of former operators are martial artists because it's just in them. Then you have fought against multiple opponents and you lived. But if you ain't that, you don't know what the fuck you talking about. Once again, going back to you don't know what you're talking about. You're saying that nobody can deal with multiple attackers because you can't. That's arrogant as hell.
Mm-hmm.
That's like saying, I know sisters who say all men cheat. Well, you know what they're telling me? All the men they've been with cheat. I have never cheated on my wife.
Mm-hmm.
So, and I can say that proudly, and this is public, and people who know me can come forward and say, nah, you cheated on her yesterday. I never cheated on my wife. So all men don't cheat. Stop that bullshit.
Yeah,
You once again are talking about something you don't know.
mm-hmm.
You don't know what you're talking about. If you're a man saying that, you really just ignorant, and you a snitch, and snitching on the wrong thing because you're wrong, but you're trying to be a snitch or get brownie points with women. If you're a woman saying that you're speaking from ignorance because you're not a man, so you don't know what you're talking about. And like I really say, you ready for the smoke? I'm ready for the smoke on that because I can stand strong on that. And I know other men who do not cheat. I know some men who do.
Mm-hmm.
I know other men who do not cheat. And I'm not playing with words either. I'm like, well, you and E5, you can have multiple wives. No, goddamn it. I'm saying in that, number one, I believe is if you get another wife, it's your wife who chooses that person is to help her with her work, not you going out choosing, because most men don't want multiple wives, they want multiple pussy. Because a wife is work.
Yeah.
So that's another lie. Me and my wife dealt with that on African Spiritual Resistance about, that myths that's in or misconceptions about African traditions. Like we all, we in it to get multiple wives, and we get multiple wives. If you're doing that shit right, if a dude ain't doing it right, because number one, if he got both his wives living in the same house, he's doing it wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Each wife is supposed to have their own house that you financially take care of. And then the women, you emotionally, financially, physically take care of. Man, look, I'm 56 years old. I done had heart attacks and strokes. I can take physically care of my wife, but add another one, I'm dead. Shit. So, that kind of stuff. And financially, no, sir.
It's serious when you get the high pitch. He said, add another one?
Boy,
I'm dead.
Because the thought of that scares me.
Man, it's work.
That's
It's
super
work.
work. The thought of that scares me. So anyway, so martial arts sport, you know, it's got rules. You can't have an advantage that tilts the scales in you know, to your advantage. And so you train that way, right? You train for fair play, right? That's not good. Martial arts is sport. It values combat tactics that could be used to overcome the enemy within fair rules, adhered to by both sides rather than looking for loopholes in the rules. Anybody give you rules on the street and you accept those rules, you're a dummy. I just got to say it. So we're going to fight. We ain't going to use no weapons. We're going to fight over here. We ain't going to push the other person in the street. Well, why are we having a violent encounter then? If all these rules, let's go play chess. Let's do something else. Let's talk it out. Let's go have a drink. Because, damn, you got all these rules. You really don't want to throw no hands. Okay. And when I say throw hands, I'm throwing hands, bullets, knives, explosives, anything I got. Because I'm going home to mine. Terrain and the specific situation should provide spice to the combat, but never turn it into a turkey shoot in martial arts sport, right? Martial arts sport tends to prefer arena combat in which no greater strategic issues impinge on the fight or unbalance it.
Mm-hmm.
So somebody said, you know, we're going to fight behind Harold's Chicken Shack tomorrow at noon. Oh, we setting up goddamn an arena fight tomorrow at noon. Now that's good for elementary school students. They shouldn't be actually in combat, no way. If somebody's telling me that we're meeting tomorrow at noon, I'm like, cool. I'm stabbing that motherfucker at 11:30 a.m. while he's walking to the goddamn behind Harold's Chicken Shack. Then I'm going to drag him behind Harold's Chicken Shack, leave him there so nobody find him, and then I'm going home. All that. So that's martial arts sport. I've done it before, but I don't do martial arts sport anymore. You know, so.
Oh man, your response is never fail at entertaining what that looks like in my mind, man. Oh man, that is hilarious. But you're right. You know, says martial arts as a combat seeks to know who is going to win before the fight even starts, from the utilization of strategy, logistics, to ensure that the battlefield is heavily unbalanced in your favor. Most important is to make sure that the violent encounter never happens, or it is a complete turkey shoot once again in your favor.
Right. In your favor, that's martial arts as combat. So it ain't balanced.
Yeah. Like you mentioned earlier, if it's there, use it.
Right.
You know.
And I've never fought somebody my exact size except in martial arts and sport. But out on the street, I've never just encountered somebody just my size and, you know, maybe close. But most of my fights, somebody bigger. You know, a couple of times they were short, never smaller, but shorter than me. But I've never fought somebody smaller than me. Think about that. No. Because remember, I was 6 feet, 129 pounds. I was really skinny.
Yeah.
You know, so now the distinction between martial art as combat and martial art as sport can be a blurry one, especially since historically ritualistic combat sports and non-lethal mock combat competitions have long been a part of martial culture. So, you have a lot of sparring, tournaments and stuff like that, right? And it has traditional forms and self-defense competitions in that. So, and that can get blurry sometimes. So how do you objectively determine if what you are studying or what you are being taught is a legitimate traditional combat skill, a sporting skill, or merely theatrical fighting? Because you also got stage combat, right?
Mm-hmm.
I went to the 8-Town Throwdown, which was a stage combat conference. But I went and you probably remember the students pitched in so I could go, so I could learn, better choreography, film. But most people there were serious martial artists, so they also had serious classes. Classes on, and I took. So when I looked at the schedule, I was like, shit, I took all the serious classes except for stage fencing. And then barroom brawl. I took that because I didn't know how to shoot a barroom brawl or not shoot it, but to shoot it too, but to choreograph it. But all the other classes, they had European spear and shield, different, I think, of knife throwing. They had different things in there that were interesting that I took up. So there was a blur because they want to cater to the serious martial arts and then those just interested in stage combat and all that who were there and stuff like that. So there's a blur. So how do you tell what's traditional, what's sporting, or merely theatrical? Is your martial art display oriented or results oriented? Is it about effectively ending violent encounters quickly or artificially prolonging them for entertainment value? That's another thing. If you're going to be entertaining, you got to make it last long. I knew some gangsters who they had an issue because they said they can't bet on Mike Tyson's fights. They couldn't bet on his fights. By the time I knew them, Mike Tyson was incarcerated. But he said he couldn't bet on his fights. They couldn't make money off of him because he was knocking people out so quick. And they knew, like, who gonna bet for the other person against Tyson? Nobody was, so they weren't making no money. So you let it last longer. The entertainment value, right? Now, how can these issues be evaluated? The answer depends upon the approach, the attitude, and the intention of your study and the tools it employs in its method. Here, then, are some ways to consider if your own form of martial practice is a martial art as combat or a martial art as sport. And I'm assuming going to give that to us.
Yeah, that's interesting too. Cause just real quick, like a lot of, and I'm sure you're gonna get into this, but a lot of our ideals and perspective about martial arts, martial sport, and combat is just read from social engineering. You know what I mean? In terms of what we think should happen, how it should go, how that plays into being a man or a woman, and all these different things. So there's certain things connected to that. So like when you're talking about actual combat and turning the odds in your favor by any means, a lot of people will look at that as dirty fighting, or you know what I'm saying, it's insincere, or you know what I mean, whatever, based on the fact of what we've been socially engineered to think about fighting. You know what I'm saying? But
and martial arts.
Martial arts, yeah.
I posted the link to Tabitha Brown and her husband. They were talking just yesterday about children and self-defense, and she didn't want her son to learn self-defense. because in her, she's like, they teach you just to fight and so and so. And I was like, man, I really want to reach out to her and let her know you have a cartoonish, not cartoon, a stereotypical view of what martial arts, and she was saying self-defense and martial arts like they're separate, right? And they can be, and that's bad because she said, our son, he can do martial arts because the father wanted him to do self-defense. He can do martial arts, but I don't want him to do self-defense. He did self-defense before. He didn't like it. He said, how old was he? He's 12 now. He's 7. Man, let's revisit it. And
right.
Got to the point she's crying. She really didn't want. She said, I want him to, be. He is in a mode of peace right now, and I want him to stay. I don't want his peace broken because Black men got so much they have to deal with, and this world is built to break their peace. I want him to experience peace. And I said, well, some stuff I don't understand because I'm not the father of a child who grew up affluent or maybe wealthy, right? Mm-hmm. They're in a different world than I am. And the father grew up in a different world, and he said, and so she wasn't understanding. I wanted to reach out and say, well, martial arts and self-defense, to take self-defense out of martial art is like taking the sugar from a cake. You just got something. It's not a cake no more. Mm-hmm. But I'm not the one to reach, because then if she say, well, I want to look into your classes. I don't even know where she lives. I think in LA, but I want to look into your classes. She coming to our class with a son that she's crying about, and he said, people don't fight each other, Dad. The son says people don't fight each other. He definitely needs to be trained if he's thinking like that, right? But at our school, we ain't playing. So he'll come in and be like, God damn, they working with knives, and there's a little boy right there who's 10 years old working with a knife. But if they stuck around long enough to realize they're working with these tools, a training knife, by the way, y'all, but they're not really do any of my students, and I've been teaching for 35 years, I've been training for 50, rarely do my students get hurt. There's always going to be pain involved in martial arts. I'm talking hurt like, busted mouth, broken fingers, and serious, busted mouth, not a serious injury, but sometimes you may get that, but usually not. Mm-hmm. And I'm the type of teacher, somebody, your lip busted, you all right? I'm concerned about not just, suck it up, nigga.
Right, right.
Yeah, but people with a stereotypical view, the martial arts about violence, they came to our class, she would say, see, to her husband, see? Because I'm not playing. I will, if you say, let's fight at 12, I'm stabbing you at 11:30. I'm serious about that. But I'll love you until the point when you say, let's throw these hands with each other. And I may still love you after. But while we throwing hands, if you survive, maybe we can build a love for each other. Be brothers, but I survive that because I'm not going to ever start with you. So if you started with me, well, amends got to be made because I'm going to do what I have to do. So I'm not the most fit person to talk to that sister because I have a hard edge when it comes to that. Mm-hmm. But the loving part she would see if she stuck around. Mm-hmm. She would have to stick around. And in most classes, if and her husband wants him really learning serious shit to defend himself, most classes like that, she would have to stick around and see they love the students and they love people, but you're not gonna get that if you're just looking at the technical part of it.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a whole process.
Right. And it's a whole culture. So it ain't just about the martial technique.
Right.
A lot of
Indeed.
people are surprised. They say, well, you teaching the people to shoot, to do it. When we started warrior class, even people were just surprised. You know, they like, let me stretch out, get ready, be punching. Like, that's not all we do. So you're gonna learn about how to breathe. You're gonna learn about how to eat. Because man, you can learn all this here, and then a goddamn heart attack take you out of here, man.
Yeah.
When we first started the show, you know, okay, I've long been good with technique. I've long been good with strategy. But my stomach was way, and you know that, my stomach was way out here. So, you know, me having heart attacks and strokes wasn't no mystery behind how it happened.
Mm-hmm.
And people on here know how I lost. I ain't going to advertise for these mugs no more. But they know I began, this coffee is not coffee. It's mushroom coffee. I'll say that, though. It's mushroom. I won't say the brand. But that brand bought down this gut. And I feel better for it, man. Salute
to that.
So, right. Now, Kalanji bought the same coffee. He said, damn, my gut like yours was. I was like, damn, if I was going to lost the gut, I got more gut, you know. And I got the coffee. I said, you ain't drinking. He said, no, I'm not drinking enough. He said, you know, I maybe do it once a month or something. I said, you got every day.
Yeah.
And then it takes that shit off. It's definitely good for the gut, but it also builds the brain. Man, I'm gonna say this, then you know you can get to back to your part. Me and the wife and me went to Virginia and Okikiola, of course. We went to Virginia to visit our aunt, and our cousin Ray was there, and Ray liked to drink some beer. So Ray was like, hey, cuz, you gonna drink with me, cuz? Like, sure. So I get, and you know that, shit, 2 beers, I'm done.
Right.
I am done. I'm drunk as shit. But I had taken mushrooms. Mushrooms are incredible for building the brain. I had taken mushrooms beforehand. And so I'm drinking the beer. Say, go another one, cuz. Drinking the beer. Go another one, cuz. I ain't even thinking about it. My wife said after, you drunk 6 beers. So she's counting like shit. But we're going to pass out in a minute. She said, you drunk 6 beers. Are you buzzing even? I said, a little bit. I said, it wasn't, not 6, was it? She said, it's 6. The bottle's right here. She got the bottles in the garbage can, I guess, in case I died. She could say, hey, this how many you drunk. And I said, what? And so I started studying the mushrooms they build, whereas alcohol kills brain cells. That's what being high, that sensation of being high is. It's a toxin, of course, you know. The mushroom builds brain cells. It's one of the few things that build, once, you know, people say when your brain cells die after you're 15 years old, they don't regenerate.
Yeah.
Well, that's not true. You have to boost them bad boys with mushrooms and probably other things too, but no, I know it's mushrooms. And so that I didn't get drunk because as the alcohol killing the brain cells, the mushroom building the mug. Now I'm not saying that so y'all can just, God damn it, you know,
you start going crazy with the beer and the mushroom.
And the doctor told me I better not, or I'm dead the next time I drink. But I take some mushrooms. Hey, I didn't tell you that.
Everybody,
I did not say go drink.
Said in the beginning,
it worked for me.
Everybody got their own mission.
Right. So hey, I said it worked for me. Maybe that only works for balagoons. I don't know. But you know, and if you try it and it works for you, send me a message. Don't say it out here so now everybody doing it and shit. But all right.
Word. So is it practice your martial sport or martial arts? Is it practiced as a method of? Is it practiced as a method of self-defense? Is your martial system focused on scoring and winning competitions or on staying alive? Does it understand the distinction? Does it teach you to do whatever works or what the rules of the game allow? Are you practicing techniques as incapacitating actions applicable in real violence or as only those techniques allowed to tournaments or in tournaments? Do you ever stop to recognize and comprehend the difference? Do you train in your martial art as preparation for combat, even though it may never occur, or do you just play it as a game? Is it a tool of learning or an end in itself? Does your martial art concern itself with how to win a bout by scoring or with the effects that your techniques would actually do? Do you conduct mock fighting to get good at mock fighting, or do you conduct mock fighting to get good at the core elements of the martial art itself? Does your martial art even consist of anything other than mock fighting? So you're talking about practicing techniques. Are you practicing techniques to see if it's effectiveness, or are you just playing around and seeing what comes about? Are you experimenting in that way? And even if you are experimenting, are you experimenting in real situations? Does it make multiple opponents a consideration? You spoke about that earlier. Violent encounters are not only about one-on-one duels. The dynamic of one fighting against many is very different than one against one. Does your trainer ever incorporate practice at facing more than one antagonist or combating groups of attackers from any direction? Or is it instead always just about dueling a single opponent with no weapon? So do you even throw that in the pot? You got multiple people coming at you.
We did it, in fact, I think I talked about this a while ago. When students told me, you know, we think you could. Where they asked me, how many people you think you can fight?
Yeah, I remember that.
Defeat. I said, shit, one.
Mm-hmm.
And then I had you and I can mobilize. I said, well, let me show y'all what happens against two people.
Mm-hmm.
And y'all were going at it with me, and then I believe you grabbed my legs, and I was done. Because now I can mobilize who's big coming at me, and you got my leg. I can't move. Footwork drives all technique.
Right.
And so now I'm on the ground, blue. You still hold my leg, so now I can't even use my hips to manipulate. Fighting two people ain't fun.
Right.
And it ain't movies. It ain't right. It ain't the movies.
Right.
Now if tools get involved, I may survive against two. But let's add three. Let's add four. Mm-hmm. And if y'all two have tools, that's problematic.
Mm-hmm.
So now two people untrained just picking up a stick and a brick. I'm gonna eat them alive. But I don't know they untrained. So number one, I'm not even trying to get into it with them.
Mm-hmm.
High level martial arts avoidance. I'm trying to get the fuck up out of there. But if I had to, if they're trained, I have a problem.
Mm-hmm. Because even untrained with a tool, we talk about that in class. A kid with a knife,
right,
will scare the shit out of you and cut your ass up if you don't know what to do.
The other day, they're in Africa now, but Okikiola, when she was the last day she was here, I was doing school with Yemi. She grabs a pencil. I said, girl, give me that pencil. And I knew she was start trying to keep it away from me.
Mm-hmm.
And this is a pencil, not a knife.
Right.
I'm like, hey, girl, and I don't want her to stab herself either. So I said, Yemi, put your hands across her chest. Because me trying to go for the thing got stuck.
Mm-hmm.
Put your hands across her chest. She puts her hands across her chest, so now she can't because she's a baby, she can't use her legs and stuff. So now it's just her arms.
Mm-hmm.
So I put my hand out, boom, hit her wrist. Her wrist ran into my hand. Then I pulled the pencil out. And she's just looking like, how'd he do that? While she's doing that, I put the pencil, hide the pencil from her. Well, if I didn't know what I was doing, that shit would have stabbed me in my hand.
Mm-hmm.
That's just a pencil. Imagine if she had a knife. If she had a knife in her hand, I would have told Jamie, get up.
Mm-hmm.
Don't even be there. And I'd be like, baby, let daddy see the knife. Let daddy see the knife. I said, well, I give you mine. And I'd have gave her my closed knife.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I threw that shit on the ground. And when her focus went down for that, I'd have grabbed her wrist and then carefully get the knife. Because shit, if she is smiling and she just playing, I get cut, I'm open.
Yeah.
So, a tool is serious, man. And that's why take them seriously. And if you are, like earlier you said, if you're just playing, if you're doing, martial arts for entertainment, just play, do that. Don't think you're going to now translate that to something serious when you get out there. Because if you playing with a knife, you really don't know what the hell you talking about. Most people don't know that if a knife touches you, it doesn't just leave a scratch. Your shit opens.
Yeah.
If it just touches you. So if it's purposely used to cut you, you're open and you're leaking. And it did damage to skin, muscle, maybe tendons, depending on where you cut them at.
With ease too. You don't even got to try.
Right.
With ease.
Shit, I was doing sacrifice with one of my students. And I said, you cut, which I should have cut instead of holding the bird. But he was scared of her holding the bird. So I'm holding the bird. I said, you cut. The neck way down here. And he sawing away, number one. I said, hey, stop sawing. And I said, hey, I realized he's sawing my goddamn thumb. He cut the hell out of me. And it was my finger. And it's just leaking. I was like, he terrified. I said, we got to finish this. Here, you take the and I'm hurting. I said, you take the legs here. And I took the head and I finished with my cut. So my blood and the chicken blood right there in the damn sacrifice.
Yeah.
I said, hey, man, shit. Woo. Get me a so-and-so, he apologized about 1,000,000 times.
I know it.
It's all right, but goddamn, that hurt.
I know it. I got caught out there too a couple times.
Like, man. And that's not, the person doesn't have their intent. So the ashe is not there to cut your ass open.
Right. It just
so imagine the intent is to kill you. That's very serious, man.
Indeed.
You know.
So also it asks, does your practice, right, does it only take place in standardized clothing? Historically, combat could occur at any time, at any place, not just when two parties formally agree to it. Are the effects of wearing regular streetwear and cultural garments such as jeans, thick wool socks, baggy pants and shirts, heavy boots, a pencil skirt, or a Nigerian agbada taken into consideration? Or is all your training conducted in the same karate uniform or booty shorts and rash guard? So just like we talked about earlier about the dudes with the sagging pants,
right?
They couldn't really have no fight, even though they wanted to or thought they wanted to.
And if they had trained, they would realize they can't.
Right.
And they wouldn't have been wearing that shit so much.
So are you taking that in consideration, pulling your tool or where your tools are stashed in a combat episode, right? Or a situation? How can you get to your tool? Where does what people will grab on you, depending on the clothes you have? You know what I'm saying? I was just listening to somebody talking about having a fight. I forget what it was on. It was a podcast or something. And it was a woman that got into a fight. No, what it was actually the Freaknik documentary. And it was a situation where the woman got basically was about to get raped.
Oh yeah.
You know what I mean? And they pulled her out the car, and there was a bunch of dudes on her and just pulling out. This is something you really can't defend against, but all these multitudes of people on you pull and got her breasts out and all of that. And the only thing that stopped them was somebody calling police. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, police. Yeah.
So, you know, you get in, that's a high level situation, but if you go on one with somebody and they, as a woman, pull your breasts out, or as a dude, pull your pants down, how you gonna, you know what I'm saying? How you gonna respond to that? Are you thinking about those things? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you know, that's the first thing in my mind when I see people with those saggy pants. I'll step on the ankle area of their pants, start throwing hands, and as they're stumbling back, their pants gonna come down. When they come down around and their ass and privates exposed, they're gonna reach to pull that up, and I got them.
Yep.
You know, so
you can't move. Your hips is done at that point.
Can't move, and your mind, all your ashe goes from fighting me to covering up your stuff because you want some dignity.
Right. Yeah.
You know, I told my daughter the other day, I was going to the garbage, and I've lost so much weight. All my clothes, you know, my sweatpants and shit, they fall down half the time, so I got to get new sweatpants and stuff. And I'm coming from the garbage, and my pants started coming down, right? I said, okay, now this is training for me. Do I reach down and pull my pants up? And it's people out there, but I'm like, shit, they could run over here and do something to me while I'm pulling up my pants. Do I let them fall and give these people a show? I let them motherfuckers fall when I got to the door. Right? Now, believe I was walking quick because I didn't want to be out there too long like that. But I'm like, shit, let me see what it feels like to be in that position. And I came to the conclusion, I got to get new clothes. And otherwise, I just be wearing jeans outside because I got a belt. Because damn, I can't be like that.
That shit is serious.
My instinct kept wanting to go and pull, you know, and I said, shit. I got in the house real quick, right? Well, if somebody said, hey, nigga, your ass showing, nigga, I want your ass. What I was going to do? I was going to have to turn around and fight. But the biggest concern, because I'd have kicked out them pants and fighting in my damn boxes. Okay. But the biggest concern is my tools were
in your pants,
in my pockets, and they were down at my ankle. That's not good.
Yeah.
So I kick the pants off. Now I'm reaching down trying to grab it while he's running up the ramp.
Yeah.
So we have to be careful. And yes, it's very true. I did that, right? So I'm always training myself even beyond. So things that comes to my mind. Well, what would I do? And one thing I know, wearing baggy pants ain't it. That ain't it, you know. So if you got a bunch of baggy pants that you're wearing, you need to get something else. Because I've seen people even with baggy jeans and they got a belt on and it's still around like in the middle of their thigh. So that means their ass exposed, really.
Yeah.
They got drawers on.
Yeah.
Some people, they want to show their expensive drawers. It's weird.
Yeah, it's wild. I remember when I was in high school, I tried sagging one time. And it wasn't even on purpose. I was rushing to get to school and I forgot my belt.
Oh no.
And the pants wasn't gonna just automatically drop because I was basically I was a husky dude, so I had big pants. But man, the whole day I'm walking, I'm pulling up my pants the whole day. I'm like, man, this shit, I'm never forgetting my belt ever again. Ever again.
You know, when we all went to New York, you know, that evening I went to the thing with the celebrities, and I took Ty with me.
Mm-hmm.
Ty networked with all the celebrities. I couldn't because I forgot my belt and I had some big jeans on. So the whole night I'm just pulling up, holding up my pants. I said, God damn, I couldn't find, well, I was looking for my belt. I couldn't find them. I think I'd actually put my belt in my wife's bag. I did because I found it, you know, when I went back to the hotel. But I'm looking, I'm like, oh my God, where the hell my belt at? And so I'm holding up. That shit was terrible.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, man, this opportunity just wasn't a night for me. I didn't get to meet none of the celebrities. Some of them walking by the table. Hey, how you doing, brother? I'm like, hey, and go right back to holding my pants up. Shit was crazy, man. So if you're into the baggy pants, you know, rethink it. Now on martial art versus martial science. Although most martial arts have a base set of instructions, right? You do this, you do A against B, and you get C, you know. Similar to a science, each individual practitioner adds their own flair to it. It gets modified by what a person prefers. Now, in African martial arts, it does.
Mm-hmm.
It gets modified by what a person prefers and becomes a thing of beauty to that practitioner. And that is the purpose of an art. So for us, we don't have forms. You don't throw an elbow this way. You throw an elbow your way. Okay. So now for people who have form, I'm not breaking on that. That's their thing. We don't have it because it's individualized. Excuse me. It's individualized. So you add your flair to it. It's what fits your body. You know, you may like to throw the up elbow with a slight angle. Some people like to throw it completely vertical. If you're covering, you should have it completely, you know, vertical and to the side of your head because it's protecting you for a reason. Mm-hmm. Right? But some people like to cover with the roll. Some people like to just, you know, angle off. It depends. Some people like to just come forward with it. It depends on your style. So you learn the system, but the style is yours, is your flair. So that is an art form. Mm-hmm. Like that. Okay. Furthermore, art uses one of its more antiquated definitions, meaning skill or craft. So think of the word artisan, right? Or industrial arts as the proper name for shop class. So shop class in school, that actually is called industrial arts. Ironically, being derived from the Indo-European root for tool, art is closely related to words like armaments and armor. Mm-hmm. Okay. Martial, of course, refers to warfare, combat, or the military. Its ultimate etymology is from the Roman god of war, Mars. So, and people say, well, what, you know, the Muntu arts. No. Muntu, or Muntu, is a Bantu word. Okay. Arts comes from Greek and Roman. Mm-hmm. So to say Muntu arts still makes no sense. You don't say martial arts, you say Muntu arts, like you're being African by saying that.
Yeah, it's still art in there.
Right. Art is still in there. Stop that. Stop it. Now, and if I gave you the name, which is martial art, for different African traditions, it's going to always come down to, if you're talking about traditional African martial arts, it's going to always end up being whatever that culture's word is for wrestling. And we'll get into that later, and we've done that before. So they call that, if you ask for martial arts, you go to African and say, I'm looking for a martial arts school. They're going to take you to a taekwondo school, karate school, kung fu school, because they don't call it martial arts. That's true. Oshawa Kwesi is the one that, revealed that and say Muntu arts, but that's not right. But they will call it whatever wrestling is in that culture. So anyway, so martial art at its root means war armament or war armor. Okay. The term art in martial arts can also refer to the creativity, expression, and mastery involved in these combat forms. The aesthetic and philosophical aspects of these practices, including their historical and cultural significance, as well as the development of personal character and discipline through training. That is also art in martial arts, what that means, okay? So it's about the culture and the discipline. The
So speaking of that, there's a question in the chat. Forgive me, brother, if I pronounce your name wrong. Jadorian.
Yeah.
He asks, have you had students come to you to students, this may be a typo, combat arts specifically for study reasons?
Spirit reasons.
Looking for, well, he put study underneath it, so maybe he was replacing that. But it's
looking for a
sense of peace or stillness internally.
Yes. So, yeah. Have you had students come to you to study combat arts specifically for spirit reasons?
Forgive me, tripping out. Yeah, study combat arts.
When people come to me, so usually when new people come to me, I'll let you know how I establish what we are, and we are spiritual. So, but not in the movie or Asian thought of spirit when it comes to warriorhood. Okay, so people come to class. I say, everybody here that's prepared, throw a tool on the floor, right? And people, and then what I do? People, boom, they throwing knives on the floor. People look, eyes big as saucers. Some folks will surprise me sometimes. They throw theirs down. I say, oh, this is a good one right here. They thinking. They've heard about us, and they know, okay, their mindset matches what we're doing. Okay, so they know, okay, these people about combat. But I also explain that this is the house of spirit. This is the house of spirit. Okay. Spirit ain't some external thing. There are external, we ain't concerned with those. Because that ain't in the saving of our life. Even in African traditions, I'll speak specifically about Ifa. Ifa says, and we have a corpus of knowledge called the Odu, and it's 256 Odu, and within each Odu you have essay, which are stories, and it's an infinite number of stories within each of those Odu. In Okanran Osa, it says, what good is the cutlass except human beings pick it up? So cutlass, rake, shotgun, bomb, spirit, whatever it is, what good is it except human beings pick it up? So it ain't doing no good for you. So you get into a car accident, oh, you're in the car turned upside down. Somebody help. Some spirit help. You believe in God. Oh, Lord Jesus. Jesus saved my life. You believe in Jesus. Jesus saved my life. Please get me out of this. Somebody help. This person comes, you say, Jesus sent me a savior. Jesus sent you a savior. But that Savior wasn't a ghost.
Mm-hmm.
Allah sent you a Savior, but that Savior wasn't a ghost. That Savior was in a well-made man or woman. Because what good is anything except human beings pick it up when it comes to our protection? Okay. So people come and they come for spiritual reasons. They got to know that spirit is here. So when we say we meditation, it advances and develops the spirit. Spirit and mind is the same thing, by the way. Well, I didn't say brain, I said mind. And I can point here, mind is all that we're the mind, right? Well, when you do meditate, us is moving meditation. If we do drills, that's moving meditation. I'm developing my mind. I'm developing my spirit. The punch is coming at me close. I'm getting rid of my fear. So I'm strengthening my spirit. I'm becoming more sensitive. Mm-hmm. So I'm becoming in tune with my spirit and the other person's spirit.
Mm-hmm.
So that is spiritual, Jadorian, for us. Okay. That man on the mountain, we're not doing that. And in fact, in the story of Bodhidharma, the reason why they do martial arts, which started in the Shaolin Temple in China, Bodhidharma, he came to the Shaolin Temple and the priest was standing, staring at a wall, sitting, and they were physically weak as hell, had asthma and couldn't carry stuff. They were weak. He gave them, they talk about the 108 hands of Lohan. Well, he gave them that to strengthen their body. Those are all martial arts movements. Okay. So he gave them martial arts to strengthen their bodies, and which was strengthening their spirits. That is another part of meditation. But if you just do the meditation where you sitting, you're going to debilitate. So you have to move. You have to do the movements. And it can be done through dance and different stuff like that. When you're talking about as far as people come for martial arts, if the instructor is teaching just like Mr. Miyagi, and people didn't do that before Karate Kid came out, by the way. There were not no martial arts schools that got so spiritual and esoteric. When Karate Kid came out, which was not written by an Asian man, it was written by a white man who was learning karate. And he was teaching philosophy in it because people thought the Japanese and that their whole arts was more philosophical than anything. And people still think that. And mystical and all that. That's because these people, real warriors, they're not going to teach an outsider their shit. So they gave people a lot of bullshit originally. That was their anger from different Asian cultures at Bruce Lee, who, when he began to teach the actual shit where it wasn't all esoteric. Mm-hmm. And he said, you look at Chi masters and they, they can barely breathe, smoking cigarettes. And so he taught actually how to get yourself in physical shape and, to develop these physical attributes. Mm-hmm. The Japanese had been doing that. The Chinese have been doing that. But they show us movies where they standing on, it's spiritual. For them, when they get spiritual, they standing on the branches of trees. sword fighting on the branches of trees and shit, and you try to do that, I broke my back, because you're not going to do that. Okay, that's fantasy, and they gave you the fantasy because they didn't want to give you their shit.
And in addition to that is also the art of it as well. So there's aspects of it that play to a mentality or a way of viewing things to help you understand deeper concepts. You know what I'm saying? So, and also in addition to what you're saying, Baba, for everybody out there, as far as martial arts and our martial arts system, we the spiritual aspect, a lot of us come there for that peace and that stillness. It's just maybe not be labeled as peace and stillness. We want peace within ourselves, and us trying or learning and training to fight and defend and protect ourselves is a way of obtaining that peace and that stillness, because you have to deal with yourself emotionally about what you're able to do, what you're willing to do, what you can do, all in real time. You know what I'm saying?
And viscerally.
Right.
Say if you are married and you got children, thoughts come in your mind. If somebody kicks in this door, this is what I'm going to do.
What you going to do?
Blah, blah, blah. And you're not at ease if you don't know what to do.
Exactly.
But I am at peace. I know what I need to do, and I have things in place. So I'm at peace because of that. So it viscerally will give it to you too.
Yeah.
So it's holistic. The whole thing will bring you peace.
Yeah, indeed. Because of what most of us may not realize, we live in a society that helps its people to manufacture fear, which is worry. So there's always look out for this, worry about that, worry about this, worry about that. So in our minds, when we left alone to our own minds, you can't really meditate and just not do nothing, because there's so much shit going on in your head to be like, to worry about. You know what I'm saying? So that's engineered as well. So, helping martial arts helps with that. It definitely helped me with that. You know what I mean? And it will help you too. So in that sense, yeah, it definitely brings about a peace and a stillness, because it helps to bring about the confidence and the courageousness in yourself to maintain and to grow the life in the way that you want without worry and fear of certain things. So I just wanted to put that out there in addition to what you were saying. So we here now. It says, while there is certainly a scientific aspect to martial arts, such as biomechanics, physiology, and strategy, the term martial arts emphasizes the holistic nature of these disciplines, which includes physical, mental, and spiritual development. That's just what Baba spoke about. Therefore, the term martial arts reflects the balance between the scientific and artistic elements of these combat practices. So you have to work with all of these different aspects of life, knowing the body, knowing your own body, knowing your opponent's body, all these different things in order to train yourself and better yourself in a situation.
Now, a lot of martial arts schools started calling their art a science in order to distance themselves from performance arts. And that's when people thinking art is like performance art.
Right.
Such as dancing, as well as instill in their students a sense of confidence and trust in their teachers that you might find in a classroom setting. So it seems more serious when you call it a science. Right? But no martial arts I know of, which is many, are true sciences. And I have friends who are scientists, right? You've heard me talk about Milton Davis. Milton Davis is a chemist. He's a scientist. I have family members who are scientists. Sciences are many things, but one thing they all include is falsifiable hypothesis. That's ideas that can be proven incorrect with mathematical rigor. I have not seen the use of falsifiable hypotheses in any martial art in 50 years of training. Thus, martial arts are not they're not sciences. They're just that, arts. Okay, martial arts are just that, arts. It's not just a term. It's not talking about performing arts like we said earlier. It's about art as artisan, as artist. Now, Amasun can talk. He's a performance artist and an artist. Is your performance art the same as when you drawing a mural?
Nah, it's different. You evoking different energies, you know,
And skill sets.
And skill sets, yeah, for sure, for sure.
So,
because the thing about it is, you know, what I come to understand about science, you know, science is the study of things and maybe the explanation of how things are, but there's so many nuances and variations of how things could present itself. You can't necessarily, and it's different for every person. So some things you can't follow a formula and it manifests itself in the same way with me as it does with you. You know what I mean? So in that, there's different nuances that play to what is going to invoke me to do or understand even what's going on. You know what I mean? There's certain things that we notice in class with full instructors, assistant instructors, how we each distribute the information that we understand, you know, how we may have to switch it up depending on who the person is, how somebody may not understand what you're saying, but I understand what you're saying, and I could give them a different way of seeing it. You know what I mean? It's and that in itself is an art, you know. So, you know, you talk about performance art and me doing a mural. Performance art, there's a full body of communication in connection to what I'm saying. Right? Whereas, you know, with my visual art, you know, I'm using the techniques to communicate something, but it doesn't have to be as expressive as when I'm performing. You know what I mean? And it couldn't be. If I was performing, if I was doing a mural the same way that I perform on stage, that should be fucked up. It might give me something new to look at and be like, okay, I like how I did that. I'm gonna try to incorporate that. You know what I'm saying? That motion, it gave me that line, so I'm gonna incorporate that. But boy, if I'm way I perform, that shit, hell no, I couldn't write a straight line the way I perform. You know, so it's definitely different.
The dangerous thing is when we take performing artists who act in a martial art movie as a martial art master, or even a skilled martial artist. Not necessarily so. Because they are invoking a different skill set. They are entertaining you. In fact, when I do martial art choreography for movies, I tell the actors, you're not going to be doing real martial arts.
Right.
And I tell the martial artists, you cannot do real martial arts.
Yeah. Matter of fact,
you have to lengthen the line when you strike. Things have to be seen. Even people talk about how fast Bruce Lee was. Bruce Lee had to slow down. And this part is true. There are many myths about Bruce Lee, but this is true because I've had to do this in film myself. The director tells you, slow down, because people are not going to follow what you're doing. If I go like that, people are like, okay, what the fuck was that? Now you can make it like with the music, and people can think they caught what was going on. But if I, like that, now you know that's exactly what I just did the first time. Now you're picking up, and then you think that's fast. That's not fast. But you add the sound to it, and the person's reactions, and really it's the person who's supposedly getting hit that sells that more than the person that's throwing the strike.
And I mean, it's choreography.
Right. And so that performance ain't nothing like out there, because one ain't gonna be no sound effects when you're hitting the person too much. They hear practice of it. You waiting to hear that do. It's not gonna sound like that.
It ain't gonna be the same sound effects.
Right. You're like, damn, that was boring. If you're in the middle, first of all, I ain't never been in a fight. I've been in now, and that's another thing with martial sports. I have been in competitions where I'd be like, this is exciting. Dude, I didn't have no competition till I fought this one dude, and really, if he had taken that head mask off, he wouldn't have been no competition either. But he had a face mask on, so he wasn't worried about getting in the face. So he was taking more risk, and he kicked me in the side, right? But it scared him because I was like, that's what I'm talking about. We in it now.
Yeah.
I was excited. That scared the shit out of him, though. I ain't never, if a motherfucker kicks me out there, I ain't gonna be like, yeah, we in it, baby. Because I'm like, oh shit, he could have killed me. I'm taking that differently.
It's a different mentality.
Right. And so it ain't gonna be, so I've never been in a fight outside that's exciting.
Yeah.
It may have looked exciting to people watching, but it wasn't exciting to me. I wanted to get that shit over and be out.
Serious business then.
Right. But in tournaments, I've been excited about being in certain fights. So that's another difference. Your own body's going to react differently when you out there, and them rules ain't there. The variables are different. The stakes are higher. I'm not fighting for a purse or for a trophy. Goddamn, I'm fighting to live.
Yeah. You sent that video the other day where you was reminiscing on them tournaments. And I was looking at the old tournaments, and I was like, dang, cats is really coming at you back then. Like, and it was still a point system, you know what I'm saying? But that one brother, he kept getting them with that, he kept catching everybody with that sweep. You know what I mean? And people are wary of it, and they trying to prepare for it, but they couldn't prepare for it. You know what I'm saying? But that's the type of idea that would go on in the tournament, because you have second chances.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like it's this attitude of, okay, if they do this, now I'm gonna try this. Oh, they caught me with that punch. Well, I'm gonna do this the next time. Where outside, you don't have that many chances.
I mean, shit. You know how Mike in his prime, Mike Tyson, was a beast. He was terrifying. When he got in the fight with Mitch Green, both of them ended up with broken hands. Because that was the street. And Mike's hands, having them gloves, they weren't conditioned for the street. That's just a little bit. God forbid if one of them had to pull the tool. Right. The other one would have been through. They don't know what to do.
It's a whole different set of emotions.
Right.
When you out in the street. Because now when you in the ring, you have that idea of, okay, this moves at a certain pace. You got people outside the ring with bells and announcers, and you got a time limit, this and that. And, you ain't got to look around to see if this dude got somebody with him, and they might, you know what I'm saying? It's a whole different set of emotion and perspective. So you can't look at it the same.
Right.
You could try to, because, you might have a little ego based on what you do in the ring. You know what I'm saying? Or even in your training. You know what I'm saying? MMA cats train all the time. They go in the ring and that stuff, you know, their techniques could work out in the street, you know, because they're using real techniques, but the mentality is a different thing.
Because they're doing martial art as sport, and it could translate as martial art as combat.
Right.
But to translate it, you have to train to translate that.
Right. Right.
You know, otherwise, so I watched a lot of times when they said the MMA fighter was attacked in the street, and normally they coming out of a bar, so some drunken dude who's untrained, of course he gonna F him up.
Right.
But I'm watching, you know, them wide stances they using with them and stuff, which will get you torn up. So outside, a person trained on the street, and you standing wide with your legs wide, and he goes down like he gonna take your leg. He may not be going for that single leg, and then you sprawled, and he slits your goddamn femoral artery with the knife you didn't see.
Right.
And then you yeah, because you shouldn't have been standing with your legs wide like that, getting, you know, thinking that you're gonna, you know, stop him, because you stand with your legs wide so you don't get single leg or double leg, brother. Right? That you thinking about a double leg while you out there?
Yeah, it's a different mentality.
Oh, right. So think about the double leg and defend that shit in the ring, but outside you better defend double leg, single leg, triple leg, egg salad. You better decide all kinds of eggs. You better defend all your eggs, because goddamn shit, you can leave it.
Right. Right.
You know.
Right.
So it is different, you know. We're martial art as combat, and some students, you know, want to go sports, and we've had one, and when he went, the mentality still different. So when he goes down, he end up breaking the dude's ribs.
Yeah, you gotta change it up.
Right,
and
it's a whole different and I tell students, this is going to take away from your combat efficacy now if you really want to go far in sports.
Yeah,
because you have to think differently.
And you know, we talking about the use of words a lot. You know, you opened it up talking about that. We talk about martial arts, martial combat, martial sports, all of these things. But just think about this in the simplest way. You're training yourself to do these things. So when you think about your child and you put them on a bike that has training wheels, you're training them to ride the bike to gain balance. So if you're training for sport, your mindset is going to be set for it unless you fluently combat doing combat, you know what I mean? Or training for combat. Then you may be able to flip it here and there, but it's certain things you're not going to do. You know, like in them tournaments, they train to hit, get the point. So you seen the cat get him on the floor, it was like, bow, and he just jumped right up. Yeah, you do that out in the street.
You just let your opponent get up.
You know what I'm saying? You
were winning, but
yeah. So it could be very difficult to change it because you're training. Think about, you know, bad habits and changing your bad habits. You don't have them ingrained for a time period. Some people wouldn't change the way they eat if their life depended on it because they just train themselves to eat a certain way and comfortable and don't want that to change. You know what I mean? Don't want to do the work to change that.
A person I know who does Sanucus Jiu-Jitsu. You don't know Sanucus, look up Sanucus, Sanucus. Two people to specifically look up Dr. Moses Powell, who's the founder of Sanucus. And he really put the black in jiu-jitsu. It's Sanucus Jiu-Jitsu. Few people in martial arts do I can't really say idolize, but admire like that. He's one of them. And I would say in my top two. my father, then him. Top two. Now, easily. And then Hassan Khalik, Haisan K and Khalik, Kaleak. The only reason why I haven't had Hassan Khalik, well, ask him to be a guest. I don't know if he would say yes. I don't know him like that, but I would love for him to be a guest. Is because I don't know if he still is, but Hassan Khalik used to be police. At least used to be. I don't know if he still is, but goddamn, his flowing ability. I said, boy, I'm glad I ain't grew up in New York. That motherfucker police. Me and him would be going at it, and he may get me. Because even at his age, and a lot of people, they's like, Unc got that flow. Unc got that flow. They say Unc because he's older. He's older than me. But you see him. You probably seen the video on Instagram. He hit the dude in the chest, and when the dude hit in the chest, he hits. He said, I don't see that. That's nice. Throw the elbow. That's nice. He said, I see this, and the dude, he blocks, and then he comes off the block and comes underneath, hits. Do different things. So their flow. People have asked me, even my wife, did you train them when she see high-ranking snooker's people? I said, oh no, that's how they flow. They flow like an African almost would flow, because Dr. Powell, it was really in him. It was in him so much so that his teacher said, you have surpassed me. His teacher, Master Visitation, did jiu-jitsu and arnis, which is Filipino martial arts. Master Visitation is Filipino. And so he gave, I guess he did kind of like a hybrid. And so, the Filipinos flow. And much more so than Japanese flow. So so he flows with his, and then when he gave it to Master Powell, a black man from New York, and New York has a strong rhythmic energy to the way y'all move, the way you even walk, and the way you present yourself. It's a strong rhythmic to it, and he added that to jiu-jitsu and made that Sanukis, man. It's incredible. If any of if people ask me, what art they should train, I always say judo. If you don't have access to a good judoka, a person who does judo, and then I would say, and you can't get with us, I would say go to Sanukis. And either you get with us, if you get a chance to study Sanukis, do so. Do so. It's a good martial art, good flow in it. And they approach martial art as, and I started saying that because they approach martial art as combat. The person I know, well, I know several, but one person I know went to a tournament, got in the tournament and was terrible. This person, I know they can get down on the street. I know it. But in tournament, they got their asses handed to them because they do not do martial art as sport. It ain't their arena. So it's not what they're good at. My students do good either way because we just some bad motor scooters. But if you stay in sport too long, it's going to your martial art as combat. Your combat efficacy is going to diminish. Has to, because you're too used to fair play, to balanced fights and all that. And
there's certain things you can't do. There's certain things you can't do in the ring.
Right, exactly. A lot of things you can't do.
Yeah, and that's even without the tools.
Right, and that, so the litmus test for us is, does your art use tools? If it does not employ tools, on the street, a person I know said, you know, you're a great martial artist, but you know, you use them tools that, you know, that's dishonorable. I said, man, hell out of here. This is a friend of mine, high-ranking martial artist. I said, get the hell out of here. Because I use tools. He didn't say tools, he said weapons, right? I said, get out of here, man. I said, well, I guess I'll just be a bad martial artist that can work the hell out these tools. So for him, you know, martial art, it was about what he considers good character. I got great martial skill, but I'm not a great martial artist because I use tools. I said, so none of my students, none of we, you know. He said, you got great skill now. But what am I? I'm not a martial artist then. So Ominiki's uncle came to town, saw us training. He said, God, man, he told Ominiki, man, they bad. That's not martial arts. That's combat. I said, tell him, I said, thank you. Because he's thinking in terms of what he does is martial arts. Kick, punch, block, form. What we do is combat. Thank you. Thank you. You know, because it's martial arts as combat. So he's right and exact on that. He saw it. Yes. I said, but tell him next time, don't just see it, experience it. Get in there with us. Because we love him. Get in there with us, you know, so I can share some stuff with him. We know people who do, you know, karate and who's serious. They do martial arts. They approach it as martial arts as combat. So for people who breaking on different martial arts, that martial arts some bullshit. It ain't gonna work. It ain't go. There are some martial arts that's bullshit now. Yeah. But a serious martial art, if it's exploring it as combat, doesn't matter what it calls itself, as long as you can survive with it. There may be some that are more efficient, but if you can survive out there, and it works for you, it's good.
Well,
it's good. So you don't hear me breaking on stuff too much. There are two martial arts that just ain't. I mean, God damn it. You know, leave. And people say, well, what martial art are they? I have said before, so you got to look through the thing. I'm not going to do that today. I'm not going to do that. But there are, but it's probably not the one you studying. I'm talking to y'all out there. It's probably not the one you studying. And if you are, take that goddamn skirt off and train. Now, let me say this. Sanukis wears that same skirt. It's called a hakama, by the way. It's a split skirt, like long shorts. They ain't wearing a goddamn pencil skirt. It's called a hakama. And many arts wear it. So I know some karateka that also wear the hakama. Because it sounds good and it looks good when you get thrown, and it sounds good when you're moving, right? That loose material and stuff. That's the showy part of martial arts with that. But, and you know, samurai in what do they call? It's not iaido, it's a fast draw. I forget what God damn it. Their sword fighting with samurai sword fighting, but they wear the hakama too. The art I'm talking about, one of them wears a hakama. Take that goddamn hakama off and go do something else. I just got to be honest about it. And so those who know. And even though you've seen a movie, people weren't even checking for this martial art until certain movie came out in the 80s and it was raw. And so they thought what they saw was how this martial art really is. That's movie performance. And let me say the movie, Above the Law. If you haven't seen it, watch Above the Law and you'll say, God damn it. People, you know, take Steven Seagal as a joke now. You wouldn't take it as a joke then.
Nope.
And the movies were brutal. But, and it was shot in Chicago. I know some people who were in it, right? And so people flock to that art that he does, which I won't name, but you probably know what it is now. I'll be right back.
All right. Peace, good people. C Flux Singh, I will soon practice African martial arts at the Afrikan Martial Arts Institute. If y'all don't know me, been a student with Baba for maybe about 11, 12 years now. Fantastic stuff. Fantastic stuff. If y'all do have any questions, you can put them in the chat and I'll address it to him when he comes back.
Now, let me say, though, there are exceptions to every rule because there's a man, he's legendary brother in Chicago. He's transitioned now, but Gilbert James, he did, and I'll say the name of the art, he did Aikido. And goddamn.
Somebody put it in the chat, too.
Yeah, he was cold. Gilbert James was cold now. And I've actually touched hands with him. And he was no joke. Same way, people, look at, and it's a lot of his training methodology too. So people look at Tai Chi like it's something, and I used to, it's something that's not valuable for combat. Shit. And that's not the number two, the second art I was talking about in that at all. I had my doubts about Tai Chi. I went to a Tai Chi school in Chicago. This instructor is transitioned too, but he has several students who became legendary. That's how good he was. When I went into school, I had set up an appointment to see him. I said I didn't do any martial arts. He shook my hand. He said, I'm going to let you come in and we talk and we can do a little work, because with him, you meet with him like just privately before he accept you as a student, or if you just want to meet and know about the art, right? He said, I'm going to talk with you, but you lied to me. I said, what do you mean? He said, you're a martial artist. I said, huh? He said, you're a martial artist. He said, in fact, you've been training, I think it was about 17, let me see. Yeah, I was about 21, 22. So he said, it's about 17 years you've been training. I said, damn. That scared me then. Because I'm like, well, shit. How does he know that? Is he watching me, or, what the hell going on? He's been training about 17 years. This just shaking my hand. He said, you don't do any Asian martial. I don't know what it is, but it's something else. I said, what the hell? And that impressed me so much. Now, I can look at certain people now, and so I understand it. I can look at certain people now. I know what martial art they do. I know they do kung fu, capoeira. Well, black people. I haven't. With Asian people and white people, I don't know because I'm not around them like that. But with black people, I know what martial art you're doing, what you do. And if you lie and say you don't do martial art, I know. person lying. I think I've said to you, this person lying. They do martial arts,
Mm-hmm.
and they do so and so. So when he said that, I said, okay, yeah. So I told him, and he's talking to me about the art, how people think Tai Chi is just for health. He said that came about when Westerners got it, and it has health benefits, and that became popular to them. Just do it for health. He said, but it started out for combat. The Taoist martial art. You said you heard of Shaolin, the Shaolin temple, but the Taoist temple, we do Tai Chi.
Mm.
So the Shaolin temple is Buddhist. Taoist temple is called Wu. I forget what it's called, but there's this Taoist. Touching hands with him. We moving moderately. He said also, we start off slow, but then we speed up. But we start off kind of like a medium pace. And I went to hit him, and he moved off, pulled me, and with one finger, and I told you about this before, hit me, boom. And when he hit me in my chest, I was about 2-3 feet off the ground. Whoa! I land. I'm about 30 feet away from him. One finger. And it didn't hurt me, but it definitely moved me. So if you wanted to get away from me, easy. You want to pull a tool while I'm in the air, you can pull a tool and bow, 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 or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, damn, this is impressive. I just didn't study with him because he told me, you can get to this level with no problem. But before they even began to move at combat speed, it was 7 years. I said, you know how much ass can be whooped within 7 years? Just like that. I said, you know how much ass can be whooped within 7 years?
That's funny.
He said, before that, you had to be careful. I'm like, shit, no.
That's funny. There's a question in the chat, and I gotta go soon, Papa. But Emmanuel asked, how long would someone need to train to become proficient in self-defense combat?
Proficient?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll deal with how long you need to be able to defend yourself. It's not proficient. You can be able to defend yourself in 3 days. You can be able to defend yourself in 1 day. You take a workshop for enough hours, 4-hour workshop. Because I can give you 2 things, a cover and an up and over escape, and you're way more able to defend yourself than you were before you walked in that door. And in a workshop, if they're giving you more than 3 techniques, you ain't learning nothing because it's too much. Paralysis by analysis, right? It's too much. You learn too much. To be proficient where whatever variables come into place and you're able to deal with that and shit like that. Number one, I ain't seen every variable that's happened itself, and I've been trained for 50 years. But once you have an understanding of how physics and anatomy play in your survival, I give it 6 months to a year, you can defend yourself against anybody. Will it look good? Hell no. Will it look completely unbalanced? Hell no. Will it be as effective as me? No. Will it be effective as Amosun? No. Will it be effective as Belay? No. But you'll still be able to defend yourself. Proficient to me means you're able to do a thing with a professional level of quality. But to do that, you have to be professional with what you're doing. That means you have to have dedicated part of your life to doing it. Then you're going to have to be putting in a couple of years. I always tell people, I would say by the time you're a full instructor, which with us, it's going to take you to 8 years.
Mm-hmm.
And I always I tell them, and they may not believe me till they see it, the difference when they're assistant instructors. I say, when you become a full instructor, the day you become a full instructor, you know way more than when you were an assistant instructor. Mm-hmm. Haven't I told you that?
Yeah.
Was I right?
Yeah.
So there's so much more you know. That's when you become proficient, because we've dealt with you. It ain't no magic trick. We done dealt with you. We messed with you. We're building proficiency in you.
Mm-hmm.
That's when you're proficient. When you become a full instructor, you're way beyond an assistant instructor. You all have seen it. Y'all seen the difference between Ominiki and Belay. Well, if I brought Amosun out here, who's been a full instructor longer than Belay, you would see the difference. Then you would see the difference between Amosun and Akinbobola, who's a master instructor.
Mm-hmm.
And you would see the difference between Akinbobola and me.
Mm-hmm.
It's just how much work has been done on you. And you don't even know what I'm talking about when I say work. It's not just martial technique.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of work. There's a lot of teasing. There's a lot of all kinds of shit that goes into building proficiency to survive. Okay.
Yeah, it's a spiritual thing, like we mentioned earlier. It's a full cultural immersement.
Exactly. And so that takes a while, Emmanuel. But to be able to defend yourself is what I think that you're asking for. And defend yourself with skill where it's consistent. And you ain't got to involve luck in that. I got lucky. I say 6 months to a year of consistent training now.
Yeah. I would just want to add to that. I know when I was looking at it, I was like, my vocabulary was, man, I want to be nice with it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
So I know that in itself took I want to say between a year, you know what I mean? Just to be confident without having to be told to do something, to move on my impulse.
Right.
You know, and that may just be certain techniques, because I of course didn't learn all of them, you know what I'm saying, or even a whole lot that applies to me, because again, certain techniques that work good for me may not work well for Akinbobola. Akinbobola is 6 foot something. Mm-hmm. I'm 5'8", 8.5. You know what I'm saying? I'm a little heftier. You know what I'm saying? I don't move at the same speed that he does. So the techniques that I may use that apply for me, it may not be for him.
I say no. I say you don't move the same speed. Speed wise, I think you're actually faster than he is.
In certain ways, but I mean, in a way of his length, in terms of his closing, you know.
Well, yes. So his ability to be able to pull on certain things is faster.
And that's what I mean. That's what I mean. You know, because again, if I was to fight a person of Akinbobola size, I'm gonna use different techniques. And then somebody my size, which I may have more access to because it's my size. So that also plays a part into how, you know, you learn, you know what I'm saying, and what you can do or what you're capable of doing at that time. You know what I mean?
Now we'll take this last thing and then we're gonna cut out. African martial artist schools do any tournaments, grappling, semi-full contact to help promote them into the public eye. Why or why not? Okay, so I'd said before we took a student to a tournament, and the big name black belt, who I can't remember this mug name, but people know this mug, who was getting ready to fight professionally in MMA. Well, my student ended his career. He couldn't fight. Broke his ribs with his body, not like a punch or a kick.
Right.
Because our conditioning is hard, and it's not hard like throwing a ball, hitting nobody. It's purely from doing subu. Our body gets so hard. If you came to our school and you slapped the mat, you can be like, damn, this mat is hard, but it's not hard to us.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, we're not against tournaments, and we're always grappling and rolling with each other. But we don't feel a need to go to tournaments to promote the school, because once again, MMA and that's not a litmus test for us and who we are. And I won't allow it to be, right? But if a student says, I want to fight in MMA, sure, we're going to make sure, goddammit, you present us well, you represent us well. So we're going to work. You ain't just say, I'm going to we're going to work. We're not against it. And if a person wins, becomes the middleweight champion, of course, that's great for the school. But that's not something that we look for to promote the school. No.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why is because, once again, I said, we're martial arts is combat oriented. And if you become martial art is sport oriented, you're going to lose some of your combat efficacy. And I tell people, we're going to work with you if you want. And nobody really wants to do that, because when they come to us, usually it's because they want to learn to defend themselves out there.
Right.
And so they don't want to lose any of that.
You ain't even want to take the chance.
Right. And my student who was wrecking shop at the tournament, the whole time he was nauseous, throwing up. It wasn't a pleasant experience. He didn't want to do that shit no more. He didn't want to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And Akin Bobala helped me coach him. I said, you going, because Akin Bobala, I do it next to heavyweights. And I said, you ready? Akin Bobala said, yeah, I'm taught you about, the scheduling. He ain't never said shit else about it. Because he looking like, damn, I don't want to be nauseous like that. Fighting back at people. He don't want to do that shit.
That's the thing too, man. It's like you give it up for cats who train to be in MMA and tournaments and things like that. That shit is a lot of work.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? It's athletes. A lot of work a lot of work that go into it. But only thing we're saying is it's a different mentality when it comes to being out on the street and training for sport. You know what I'm saying?
Now, and this is the last one, Dale. Any schools in South Florida? No, sir. We're in Atlanta. No schools in South Florida. We got, a student in Africa. Where else? That's about a student in Chicago.
Mm-hmm.
That's it. But in South Florida, no. In Florida at all, no. But we're always willing to travel and do some workshops and stuff like that with folks. And it doesn't matter what your martial art is. We're willing to work with anybody that's sensible.
Yeah.
I've had somebody come in, they want to form an army. No, I'm not working with you. You get out of here. Form an army for what? Mm-hmm. That's my first question now. Form an army for what? I'm not people should defend themselves in communities.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're coming to me and you say, well, I want to bring you down to form an army, and I don't know you, we can't have that discussion because I don't know who you might be. You ain't gonna have me, goddammit, on no record talking about I'm helping Muggs form an army.
Right.
And the only army I got, and I was in the army, the only army that I got admiration for is the Black Liberation Army. All right, so thank y'all. Thank you, Amosun.
Thank you. It's good to be a part.
And working this with me. This was great.
Yeah, it was a good time. Good time. I told Belay earlier, I was like, yo, it depends, man, because I know y'all be going for some time on, on there, but it's all good. I had the time today, so I'm glad I did.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Good to meet all y'all out there, too.
Thank everybody out there. This was great. Y'all be safe out there.
Definitely.
Love y'all. Stay black or whatever it is that you may be. Peace.
Peace.